All right, the fourth one is permanent loss and the risk of permanent loss. I'm going to talk about the business and the personal. And this is definitely a reason why you want to start moving some money from your business over to your personal account. There's three big things I think that you should think about when it comes to just continuing to reinvest in your company. First one is just there's only so many projects you can do. So say you keep on building the company up and you keep on doing more projects. Those projects could, if you put $100,000 into building a new team of people that are doing things for you, that whole thing could be zero. You may not get any additional revenue growth out of it. So the fact of the matter is, you put $100,000 into a project and you have the same revenue as you had last year, that $100,000 really didn't do much, assuming that there was no churn or anything else. So just projects can yield zero. Second is the industry itself. You might be in an industry that's declining. And initially when you got into business, like, oh, this is a thriving industry, I want to be a part of it. But now if you tied everything to that and all of a sudden market share is being lost, new, better technology is in other areas, you just have a lot of industry risk. And then the third would be regulation. You never know, there could be something, a new law is put in place that renders your business not needed or whatever it might be. So you just have these major permanent loss situations that everything you worked for could end up going to zero. So having some stability with putting money into your personal account. Now, on the personal account, let's talk a little bit about loss. Because you can certainly invest in a super risky business that you're not actively involved in, or something that could yield a permanent loss. But if you are ultimately keeping into a couple of the core areas, so number one, if you have bonds, and which could be US Treasuries, risk-free bonds, pretty much what you're getting. So there could be some price changes, but the interest that is being paid to you, very easy, and it's considered a risk, US Treasury anyways, at risk-free. Large publicly traded companies, the probability of that publicly traded company going bankrupt after how big it is and how secure it is within the marketplace is much lower than your small company. Statistically speaking, that's the way it works. So large companies generally stick around. Price can change quite a bit, but they're going to be safer. Third, which ties into this, is you can create a diversified portfolio. I mean, well, I don't want to have one publicly traded company. I want to have 50 publicly traded companies, and I want to have exchange trade funds or mutual funds that own a whole bunch of these companies. And I then now don't have to worry about that one company going bankrupt or going to a loss because I own many of them. And then the fourth one, and this really ties into, you've worked really hard in your business. You've made money in your business. So I'd say you're taking some money to obviously support your lifestyle, but the cash flows maybe aren't super known. Where if you have this balance sheet portfolio of bonds and stocks and other investments, you can pretty easily create an expected cash flow and do it at a much less likelihood of risk, and just take a stream of money for the rest of your life. So certainly that's the advantage on the personal, is if you worked hard and now you're to the point where I just want stability in my life, or what's the point of making an extra X amount of dollars in my business when I can take some off and my lifestyle is going to be much better? So that's a big determinant, was find the right amount of growing the company to try either making money or just to be good at the game of business, or how much should I just keep in my personal wealth now that I've significantly reduced the risk, and that my investments now are supplementing my lifestyle, and I don't have to worry about some of the things you do as a business owner. So hopefully that helps. That is the balance between this is the right amount to take versus not to take.